All right. So the next thing that we need to discuss is the axle length. This is also very critical. Otherwise, if you find the wheels, the right size of wheels, but if the axle is not correct, then it will not even fit your casting, right? But of course, there's a workaround to that. But just for everyone's info, because you might be hearing this in any forum, what's the length of the axle, blah blah blah. So basically, when they mention axle length, right? Basically, axle length is basically the length of the axle. This is what we're talking about axle. But what we're basically talking here in terms of the axle length would be how long is the axle so that it will provide some clearance, right, in between the wheels so that it fit on the base of the casting. All right. Why I said that uh, this is critical and something important to note of, if somebody mentioned about long axle, the long axle is not standard. There's no specific length for a long axle. This is something that I also just realized when I'm preparing for this video. All right, just take note, sample of this. This is a 4-spoke and a star wheels. Both of these wheels fit on a JDM wheel, but if you look at the axle length, see, there's a big difference. But they both fit on the same car. Why is that? Because the design of the rim has an impact. Some rims are dip dish, therefore you will need a shorter axle length. But some rims are not that deep in a way, so it will need a longer axle, but it will give you the same clearance. All right. So it's not really about axle length, but it's basically how long is the axle so that it will give you that enough clearance for the wheels to fit on the casting. On the areas in the countries where I belong, we call it usually axle length, short, medium, long, and extra long. That's the easiest way to describe it. There's no or length or something. That's just basically it. And for those who are familiar, they already know when they mention about that length, they already know what they're talking about. All right, so let's start off. So what casting uses short axle length? So the very common thing that I know of is the cool combi. All right, so this is the base of the cool combi, and just for measurement's sake, right, the clearance that you need for small size is 10.7. All right, same goes at the back. Oh wait, why is it 10.5? Oh, it's almost the same. 10.7, 10.8. All right, all right. So the next set of axle length is a medium size, which most commonly can be found on, for example, the Camaro. All right. So Camaro is a bit tricky also, because the Camaro, at least the backside wheels, is 14 mm. You need clearance for that, 14 mm, whereas in front, you will need 16 mm, 16.7 at least. So the backside, from what I observed, this one is a medium length axle, whereas the front is a long size axle. All right, and to get things a bit complicated, Camaro uses small size wheels at the front and medium size wheels at the back. But if you look at here, right, if you compare this medium size wheels of the Camaro and the medium size wheels of the Cool Combi, this one is thinner, this one is thicker. All right, so somehow The thickness of the wheels also, or the rims, do play a part on the length of the axle. Therefore, I mentioned to you, there's no specific axle length, whether you're short, medium, long, extra long. There's no specific, because it all depends on the design of the rims and how thick is the wheels. At least for the medium size, as far as I know, there are only two sizes. One is the normal one, and this one is a bit thinner. So the next one that we're going to discuss is, of course, we already covered long axle, but long axle is mostly commonly found on JDM wheels. Example, another one of my custom. Doesn't want to focus. All right, this one is the, there you go, R34 inspired Eddie for the Need for Speed. All right, and this one is the base of the R34, so let's measure it. 17.3 or 2 at the front, give or take. 7.3 also at the back. So JDM is the very most simple wheels if you want to go into wheel swap, because both the front and the back wheel size is the same, and also the axle length is the same. So we already discussed about small, medium, and long, and then we have long. Now we discuss about the extra long. All right, extra long axle, the need for extra long axle is not that common, but the most common casting that uses extra long axle is the Datsun Fairlady, the back one. The front is long, the back is extra long. All right. Another one is the new Hot Wheels R35 Silhouette. Both of this requires extra long axle if you want to do a wheel swap. All right. So how big is the difference? So this one is the base of the Fairlady. So front, see, 7.3, 7.4, same as the long axle from Nissan that we have measured earlier. Back is around 19.9, 19.8. So big difference, 2 mm difference. All right. Okay. So just a quick summary. So two factors to consider in selecting your wheels. One is knowing your wheel sizes, which can be extra small, around 8 to 9.5 mm. I have the small size wheels, which is around 10.5 to 11. Okay. You have the medium size wheels, which can be 12.5 to 13, almost 14. You have the large size wheels, right, which is around 16. The extra large, which I don't have. All right, and you have the specialty wheels for off-road and also the gasser. All right, and the other factor that is very also important is the axle length, wherein you have the short, medium, long, and extra long. So you need to be familiar with all of these two factors, but as a guide for you, right, my suggestion here is to have a JDM wheels as your standard for all. Meaning, if you want to know what size of this wheel or what's the axle length of this wheel, you can't go wrong with a JDM wheel. All right, or at least a JDM base. Okay, for example, all right, this will fit a JDM or the R34. All right, or sometimes you just need a standard base like Choose any standard based on JDM. Nissan, Honda, you won't go wrong with it, right? Just use the base to measure. If it fits, then it's a long size. All right. Like for this case, the 8mm, if this fits also, 8mm can fit on a JDM, that's good. But this one, the TE Chrome, cannot fit. So, it's either it's a medium size or long, medium or short axle. Now, let me see whether we can fit this on a Combi. Yes, fit perfectly on a Combi. So this one is a short axle. All right. So why did I suggest to keep a JDM as always a port of reference? Because it's something in between among the most common size of wheels. So anything bigger than that, it's a medium or large wheels, or anything smaller than that is an extra small wheels. And the same thing also in terms of the axle. All right. So I hope this video finds useful for you guys, just knowing the different wheel type on the market. On my next video, I will also discuss about wheel swapping, some tips on wheel swapping, and hopefully that will guide everyone on this journey on customizing. All right. Thank you, everyone.